Hi, my name is MachineRite, and this is Understanding Fortnite. People often say that you learn best from your mistakes, but I don't think that's totally true. You definitely will learn from making mistakes, but you won't always improve. And when it comes to games, there's actually a big difference between learning and actually improving, because esports aren't the same as school. It's not like a written test where you have 5 minutes to figure out a solution. In Fortnite, you have seconds to think about solutions. So trying to consciously remember and consciously fix all of your mistakes is one of the slowest and most frustrating ways you can try and improve. And you can even develop bad habits in the process. There's a lot of scenarios in the game that require millisecond solutions. And if you're trying to consciously think, that part of the brain is just not fast enough to think of solutions that fast. The only thing that is that fast is your subconscious or your implicit thoughts. If you had to consciously think about like every breath you took or every step you took, you wouldn't be getting very far. There's a part of our brain specifically for those complicated things that can run totally automatically and you don't even have to realize that you're doing it. During my coaching, I've worked with a lot of overthinkers, and their main problem is actually trying too hard to fix their mistakes. Whenever they get into a fight, they're all focused on all the mistakes they've made previously, and they're focusing so hard on these things that they can't even focus on fighting normally anymore. And they actually get worse the more things they try and focus on at once. This is one of the reasons why I say VOD reviewing too much can actually appear to make you worse, but it's not really the VOD reviewing, it's actually just the way that you're solving your problems. And now, like I said before, this is because your conscious mind has a very small capacity. It can only think about 1 or 2 things at a time before it starts to get overloaded. If you look online, there's a lot of these things called working memory tests. It's usually like memorizing patterns or sequences and to see how many things you can remember at once. And pretty much all humans can only really remember up to a certain point, unless you start using techniques like visualization. But these kind of things take forever to do, and they're not really applicable to video games. Some advice that I often hear given is to only focus on one mistake at a time, which is definitely a better method than trying to focus on everything at once, but there is a better method. So I recently made this map with a bunch of different wall taking positions. It's a really useful map because I found that 60 or 70% of all damage trades tend to happen in some sort of wall taking scenario. At first glance, most people may consider this map a mechanics map, but a theme you might see with all of my maps is there's always something more than that. This map's actually just as good at teaching game sense as it is at teaching mechanics. So a pretty common scenario, you're going to take someone's wall, and a big mistake I see made is people will double swing and replace the wall. And what's happening is people are getting really good at reading pickaxe swings and taking advantage of that swap delay, because they know if you have your pickaxe out, they have time to edit open a wall and shoot you before you can actually get your shotgun out. And that advantage is amplified if you go for the double swing. And a poor solution to that mistake may be to just not double swing anymore. And you may go into like a 1v1 and just like focus on that mistake. But I guarantee you're definitely not going to be able to fix that mistake without making it 100 more times. So how does like a mechanics map get around this? Well, you can actually practice this habit in this map. So first of all, you're totally isolated. You don't have anything else that you have to worry about other than your mechanics and all the habits that you want to practice. So the first thing you want to do is when you're approaching a wall, you want to have your shotgun out the entire time, because they may just open the wall. So make sure that you have your shotgun out, and you only want to pull your pickaxe out right before you swing. This is something that falls along the lines of masking your intentions. You don't want to give away what you're doing. You want to have your shotgun out, only pull out your pickaxe right before you want to swing. So you go up to the wall, you pull out your pickaxe out, and you swing. And as you're swinging, be mentally prepared to place walls right after. So you swing and you get your walls out. And these walls are going to instantly protect you. If we saw a pro doing something like this, we would point it out. It's like, okay, that's like a smart play. But really, any player can make this a habit just by doing it for a couple of days in creative. And if you create this habit of always doing this single swing and then building walls, you can just allow this habit to kind of casually follow you into all your fights subconsciously. And that leads back to the point I made that you cannot treat it like school. All of these solutions cannot be used quickly unless you practice them to the point of being subconscious first. And there's actually a bunch more habits you can learn here that I'll just go over. So after this pickaxe swing habit, you can get to the habit of editing and only doing right hand cover swings, and this is going to help you a lot with your positioning. Subconsciously, you're always just going to feel more comfortable in a more optimal position. Just like if you're driving a car, you want to have your seat in a certain position to hit the pedals and be a certain distance from the steering wheel, or else it's just going to feel weird. And the same thing kind of applies here. If you're always practicing staying in a certain position, you're subconsciously going to want to be there. So yeah, you can practice this habit of swinging and peeking, and the next habit is actually pulling out your shotgun in between every swing. So what this is going to do is if they do open up to try and catch you on a pickaxe swing, you're just already going to have your shotgun out. So if they open up the edit, you can counter peek right away, and you don't even have to worry about pulling out your shotgun. It's just already going to be out. There's no downside to this. You can always swap off of your shotgun to builds with absolutely no delay. Now there's obviously examples of things that you can't practice this way, and those kind of things are the kind of things that you would have to practice consciously. But the best way to do that is to unload as much stuff as you can into these subconscious habits to allow you to have more available focus to focus on those things that you can't learn with a drill. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks guys.